Hello everyone. Hi again. Sorry that this video has come out pretty late. I took forever to make this video. You know what? It's okay. It's been a hard time actually being able to sit down and talk about the movie and record this video. I'm having a hard time because it's winter right now and it's really hard on my body and I've just been in pain. I've felt so heavy. It's taken a lot of energy to just, sit down, talk to the camera, and just talk about Sonic movies. But I feel good today. Finally, we are going to talk about Sonic Movie 3 and my review. It has been about a month since I watched the movie in theaters. I watched it again. I watched it over again so I could get my thoughts all in order. I have my notes up right now and here are my thoughts. This is my review on the third Sonic movie. To get out of the way, this movie is so gorgeous. Anyway, so to summarize my thoughts, if you don't even want to watch this video and you just want to know what my general thoughts of is Sonic Movie 3 is. Excellent movie. They did Shadow's character so well. I was very happy about that. Sonic was Sonic. Sonic was movie Sonic. Tails and Knuckles were done so well. That has to be some of the best characterization apart from the game their game counterparts. Knuckles is done so well in the movie universe, and especially Tails. Tails was an MVP in this movie, bro. He was standing on business, and of course Knuckles was too, but I mean Knuckles was always standing on business as well, especially in his introduction in Sonic movie 2. So I mean Knuckles was going to be awesome either way, but you can really tell in this movie that Knuckles has warmed up, and he's definitely accepted the family aspect, the brothership aspect of Sonic and Tails, and you can just see him understanding earthly phrases better. He's not as disconnected, he gets it. Knuckles was amazing. I'm sorry, Knuckles and Tails specifically were just so amazing in this movie. I thought Keanu Shadow the Hedgehog was amazing. The emotional depth, the stoicism of Shadow was delivered so well by Keanu. And I just honestly thought that was going to be obvious, and I think I said that in my trailer review, the first trailer of Sonic 3. That stoicness, that hurt, that depth. I mean, it just comes naturally to Keanu, especially when we see characterizations like John Wick and losing things that are close to him. It was clearly delivered, especially in Sonic Movie 3 with Shadow, and I didn't doubt it. I think either way he was going to be able to deliver those lines very well. It was going to have that emotional depth that it needed to, and I think he very much delivered that very well. My favorite scenes in the movie. One, the moon scene between Sonic and Shadow, but I think that's honestly obvious. And then the second one is when Maria meets Shadow specifically. Something that I genuinely loved about this movie, Shadow and Maria's relationship specifically, is they really were able to explore that youthfulness aspect that we were not able to see throughout the games and their game counterparts, because this is a medium of storytelling where we see things visually, right? This is not in a video game. This is not a game. We're not just given flashback cutscenes or whatever to just explain their story. This is a movie. This is a movie. So we were able to see those scenes of them bonding, dancing so cute. Maria tagging along with him, roller skating and creating childlike accidents. You get what I'm saying? Just that bonding, that watching a movie, eating popcorn, things like that. We never were able to see that in the game versions, the game storytelling of that. I mean, we could always acknowledge that Shadow was, naive and young when he was on the Ark, and same with Maria, of course, innocent girl. But we get to see a different kind of, it's tragic, but it's not the kind of tragic that it is in the game counterpart of their relationship. And to the main thing, and the reason why I say it's not as tragic. It is tragic, but on to what people have been asking me to talk about. Because of this goes into my point. Because of the aspect of Maria being sick, that was not there in the movie. I still like movie Maria. I like how they did movie Maria. You can just tell she's a sweet, innocent girl. Just a sweet, innocent girl. You know what I'm saying? But she's bubbly, she's sweet, she's nice. You know, she has a bit more of an attitude in the movie. In the game counterpart, Maria is, you know, more laid back, more very stoic as well compared to like Shadow. You know what I'm saying? But in the movie you can tell like, oh, she's an ordinary like tween girl in does it take place in the 70s? When Maria was alive, it was in the 70s. Yeah, and you can tell, you know, she's innocent, you know, she's a sweet girl. She's not judgmental, of course. I mean, that's how she bonded with Shadow and stuff like that. And she was able to see him not by what he was on the outside, but what he was on the inside. The point I'm trying to make is it's not as tragic because we don't have that Shadow being made for Maria because of her illness to cure her, to be a means to all cures to diseases and illnesses, being the cure for that, whatever. We do get that aspect of the government experimenting on him because of his powers and just because he's this otherworldly entity that has these abilities and to test him for like, you know, research and stuff like that. Of course we still get that aspect, but we don't have the aspect of, also, we're not in a space colony, we're underground. We're in an underground military government facility, able to do research and stuff like that. That's another aspect of it that I don't think is that bad. But once again, we're talking about the removal of Maria's illness. I still like the movie for what it is either way. But if I'm going to be completely honest, especially as someone who is disabled, I would have appreciated that disability representation. I know it's easy for people that don't go through the disabled experience to be like, well, actually Maria was executed better in the movie universe, and I actually prefer movie Maria over game Maria. You're allowed to have your preference, and I think that's fine at the end of the day. But when people, this just goes for anything when it comes to representation. When people tell you, actually, I don't like that aspect was removed because I really resonated with that, and this minority group, this specific group of people really resonated with that, and it was very special to me. I wish they would have been able to, you know, do that in a different interpretation of the media that I'm talking about. You should never be like, well, you're just here to complain about everything, huh? You should never be like that. And you should never dismiss why they see this specific version of the character of the media in a higher light, in a bigger lens than the other one that you prefer. Do you get what I'm saying? Just because it didn't affect you doesn't mean it did affect other people. I was really disappointed that they removed the disability aspect of Maria. I think it was missed story potential. We could have had a situation, because Shadow was clearly discriminated against in the movie. He was treated like he was this, he literally says it himself, the way the scientists look at me, like he's a monster, like he has no autonomy. He's not a living, breathing human being that has his own feelings. He's being judged. Something that could have been a kind of like storytelling thing there is Maria having her illness, being discriminated against because of her illness. We could have seen scenes of her in a wheelchair. You know, maybe she's losing hair or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe she doesn't go to school. She goes to school in the facility with Gerald. Maybe say something like, oh, she has school underground in the facility because clearly she's smart. You know what I'm saying? She's a Robotnik. But she doesn't go to regular public school because she was bullied for her illness. The kids didn't understand her. And then she bonds with Shadow about that being discriminated against, not being understood. And then that could have been a parallel of Maria loving the world, loving the earth for what it is, despite how it treated her, and then Shadow hating the world because of how it treated him. And we could still have that kind of like promise between Maria and Shadow, of Maria saying, please see the beauty in the world, even, you know, please see the beauty in the world regardless of how it has treated us. You know what I'm saying? I just genuinely think that was missed story potential, because overall in the movie the emotional depth was there. And this is something I'm going to say. I think that the movie desperately needed a bit of a longer run time. There was just something, just an emotional note that was missing. I don't know if other people can agree with me. Maybe it was because they really prioritized Jim Carrey funny moments in the movie, which is okay. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. That's fine. We can have comedy in the Sonic movie. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't hate Jim Carrey, you know? The reason why people show up to these movies, especially a lot of families that maybe weren't invested in like the Sonic movies before, is because Jim Carrey is in these movies, right? And then especially Keanu Reeves, his name attached to it, really drew people to the movie. But I'm saying the reason why families stay there and sit there is because of Jim Carrey being in the film. You know what I'm saying? He's such a big name. People enjoy him when they see him on screen. That's why it was perfectly fine for him to have those comedic moments, but for some reason I felt like there was a balance, but it wasn't the perfect balance that I was looking for, and there was still some emotional note just missing, and I genuinely think it would have not been like that if we had a bit of a longer runtime. But either way, it is not a deal breaker that Maria's illness is not there. It is fine. It's fine. It's fine. I just wish that we could have had, just imagine a child going through having cancer or something. You know what I'm saying? And coming to watch this movie and seeing themselves in Maria. I just think it's missed potential. And I know a lot of people probably think that's really not that big of a deal. But in my personal opinion, it is a big deal. It is a big deal for children to feel resonated with their movies. Family movies, you know, movies that are geared towards children. I want children to be able to sit there and feel seen by a character, you know. And I know a lot of kids feel seen when they watch Sonic. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, "Oh yeah, Sonic's me. Like Sonic's literally me." You know what I'm saying? That's movie Sonic you can relate to. He's not this like perfect entity like we see in like the games. You know what I'm saying? And I understand people have gripes with that. This is a different medium. This is a different kind of storytelling. Sonic's going to be different. This is a different interpretation. I am one to acknowledge that. That is why I am never upset with the way that Sonic is approached in these movies, because I completely understand that this is a different iteration of the character. If whether you think there should be different interpretations of Sonic, that's another discussion, but I am perfectly fine with it. It is not something that I am going to be mad about. It is not something that I'm going to act pretentious about. I like movie Sonic. I think he's adorable. I think he's the cutest little guy. And we get to see more. He's clearly grown up. He's clearly grown up a bit in this movie too, but by the end, especially at the end credit scene, we'll talk about that. In the end credit scene, you can see him maturing more into the game version of Sonic. You know, clearly he's going to mature, and he's going to be able to like balance out, you know, his comedic tones with the serious tones a bit more, especially in like future movies going forward. Anyway, something else that I noticed in this movie that I thought it was so cool, the live and learn motif. The live and learn song, right? I really like that they actually made it that Maria played this song on her acoustic guitar to Shadow. So that really goes back to how important this motif is in the film. When we first are introduced to Shadow, amazing sequence of being introduced to Shadow. It's amazing. It was just so cool. So cool. Anyway, when he's in his tube, his chamber thing, we see the flashback of Maria playing the live and learn motif. At first, it sounds nice, it sounds pure, it sounds sincere, right? Then we switch back to Shadow and his eyes being closed, and in the tube, and the live and learn motif, the riff, it sounds a bit more sinister. It changes. Throughout this movie, we have this, especially with Shadow, the live and learn motif is so important to him. It's whenever he pops up on screen, the live and learn motif, that's his character theme in this movie. You hear it so blatantly, and it's sinister in the few beginning appearances of Shadow. But then after we have the moon scene of Sonic and Shadow, then when live and learn actually pops up, it's Shadow's theme. It's Shadow's theme in this movie. It finally, when Shadow has his redemption and he understands that there doesn't need to be revenge, there are no winners, and Sonic tells him that. After he realizes that, then we hear the live and learn song, and it's full of like hope and like power, and just so the theme of living and learning. Shadow's literally living and learning, and he's learning from his darkest moments. He's learning from his darkest moments that it's okay that you did the bad thing at first. It's never too late to do the right thing. And we also can hear that as well as see that, and we hear it through the live and learn motif. Excellent use of that song. That had me ecstatic. It was just so cool. It literally is like Shadow's theme in the movie. I don't know, but I still want to hear All Hail Shadow, and I'll probably hear it in like a spinoff or something. I'm very excited for a Shadow spinoff and stuff. Another difference that I think is really cool is when we're talking about Shadow, he is not made, right? Gerald doesn't make him. He literally comes from a meteor, a comet. And it literally looks exactly like the Black Arms comet, the Black Arms. So clear as day. He's an alien now. It's not just a creation. He's not an experiment. He's a straight up alien. Black Doom is going to be in these movies, clearly. The Black Arms plotline is going to be in these movies, and I think that was kind of honestly obvious. I mean, having Black Doom, having the Black Arms, and these are sci-fi movies, by the way. These are sci-fi movies. That's their category. That is just cool story potential for your sci-fi movie. Having Shadow and then having the Black Arms and having Black Doom, they're gonna go through with it. It's just obvious. Anyway, I loved the overall message of this movie. I loved the message of it's never too late to do the right thing. After all of the bad shit that you have done because you just wanted revenge. Revenge. I mean, like, this is more, it's more like exaggerated, of course, because this is a movie in fiction, and this is Shadow the Hedgehog we're talking about. He wanted revenge. And there's a lot of people that are traumatized in life that don't know how to heal from their trauma. They hurt other people because they believe that there's nothing else they can do, whether that's unintentionally or it is intentionally. It is never too late to choose the right choice, to do the next right thing. And I'm really glad. Of course it was going to be Sonic that was going to tell him that. Again, with people's gripes with Game Sonic and Movie Sonic, at the end of the day, Movie Sonic still impacts each individual character that he is introduced to and he meets. Sonic inspires. And he clearly did that with Shadow. He did it with Knuckles, and he did it with Tails, and he also did it with Tom and Maddie. And he also did that with Shadow, and I really liked the way that was delivered. One thing that I really loved about the moon scene specifically, and this is just like, like visual storytelling. Of course, it's a parallel with Maria and Shadow in the flashback in the Field of Flowers, and then the other one with Sonic and Shadow on the moon and looking up at the stars, right? It's parallels, right? When Maria says the thing about, wow, look at all those stars, and then she asked Shadow, like, I wonder which one you came from, because he's a meteor, right? I love the star connection that they put on Shadow, because especially with his game counterpart, what is it? Knuckles is supposed to represent the moon, right? Sonic, especially Super Sonic, is supposed to represent the sun. I believe Shadow is supposed to represent a star or a shooting star or just stars. They really, really go home about that in the movies, and I just really love that. And after Maria, all that, then when we have the scene of Sonic and Shadow after their fight, and they're finally chilling and they're actually talking it out on the moon and they're sitting on the moon, Shadow looks up at the stars, and of course Maria's voice rings in the back of his head and says, wow, look at all those stars. The stars are literally, of course it's a reflection in his eyes, but they're literally in his eyes because he is a star. That's kind of essentially the metaphor that they're trying to say with Shadow. I don't know, like, the symbolism of stars, but clearly there is something there. And I love it. I love it so much. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it so much. Shadow's character, man. Like, Shadow's character is just so good in this movie. And holy guys, like the part where literally, okay, so the part where they're literally boxing it out, they're literally fighting because Sonic is mad at Shadow for injuring Tom and stuff. Of course, anyway. Oh my gosh, Shadow is just like so demented, and I love seeing an antagonistic Shadow, and I know everybody likes to see that, but of course it was like an SA2, of course, and Shadow's not an antagonist anymore per se. I don't know. He's not a villain. He doesn't necessarily keep Sonic from completing his goals anymore when it comes to like the game universe, right? So anyway, anti-hero, whatever. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, holy shit, bro, he was demented, he was cuckoo, and I loved it. The part where Sonic is about to beat the ever-living snot out of Shadow, and he's pointing to his chest, and he's like, do it, I'm right here. Like, damn, buddy, okay. And Keanu nails that so well. Like, it's just so good. I can't tell you that scene specifically after it came out of the theater, and it just was like living rent free in my head. I was like, holy shit, I am so into like demented crazy Shadow. Like, he's so cuckoo. But people were also talking about I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this word, but people were also talking about how, like, why wouldn't he be like that? He lost everything that he loved. Why wouldn't he want to necessarily like just pass away? Like, why wouldn't he want to pass away? He literally was pleading for Sonic to just end him there and now, and that hurts. That hits. It hits. I just really like that. I really liked how sinister Shadow felt. And then in the moment with his self-sacrifice, before that a little bit, then we get to see that brighter side of Shadow, that more heroic nature of him. And I'm very glad that they actually committed to actually Shadow sacrificing himself. It was beautiful. I didn't even notice it at first, the moment where he's actually sacrificing himself and he's having those flashbacks of Maria and stuff before he literally sacrifices himself. Tears come down from his eyes, and I didn't even notice that before. I went back and watched. I was like, holy crap, this hits. I thought Eggman's sacrifice was really well done as well. Personally, I think they should keep Eggman dead. And if they do bring back Jim Carrey for the fourth movie, I really do hope that it's a Neo Metal Sonic situation where Metal is disguising himself as Eggman, blah blah blah. Anyway, let's get on to the post-credit scenes, and then because I have to talk about it. My baby, my Sheila, she's here. She's literally here. I am so happy. I am just so happy. She's so cute. Amy is just so freaking cute. She looks so cute. I was like sitting next to I had my mom and my sister come with me, and then my sister was like, wait, she's so cute, and I was like, oh. And like, when I first saw the sequence, and when I first saw it, and her hammer was like going around and stuff, it kind of seems like they're going to approach that, like, especially with Metal Sonic, of course, seems like they're definitely going to like approach like the Sonic CD situation with like Amy maybe coming from the future or something. Like, I mean that's not what happens in Sonic CD, but like, you get what I'm saying, the time travel situation, maybe Amy does come from the future along with Metal Sonic. It seems like her hammer has like this futuristic technology kind of aspect to it, but when I saw it, I was like, the first thing that I said, I was like, oh my gosh, they made her a magic girl. I'm not sure if they're actually going to make her a magic girl or it is going to be like a futuristic kind of thing, but like the symbol, I felt like there was like some symbolism thing, some tarot symbolism when she was with her cloak and up, and then the moon in the background, literally the split moon, the moon in the background. I was like, hold on, this is giving magic girl. Like this is genuinely giving like Amy Magic Girl. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm very excited. I fucking love Amy. My hope would be a Shadow and Amy interaction in the movies, but whatever. Anyway, and I think it's going to be really cute. It's going to be really cute when I think they will. When they approach Amy's crush on Sonic and stuff like that, maybe it will be reciprocated in the movies, maybe it will not. I am looking forward to that. I think that's going to be the cutest stuff. And I am just so happy we finally get one of the girls in the movie universe. I'm really hoping Rouge will show up eventually too, because I need it. I need it. And Metal Sonic, I am so excited because if they fully go out with the Neo Metal Sonic situation and the Metal Overlord situation, I am going to be on my knees, bro. Those are some of my thoughts. That's my review for the third Sonic movie. Those are some of my thoughts. I probably did not touch on everything I wanted to, but I will be talking about it probably through a live stream or on my Twitter a bit more. Anyway, I hope it was thorough enough for you guys. I love this movie. I'm going to be getting it digitally, of course. Of course. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Shadow was... I'm not going to say a word. Anyway. Anyway, I'm sorry this took so long. I'm probably very, very late to the party. I hope you guys enjoyed this review regardless. Anyway, to everyone watching, I hope you have a good day or a good night. Bye-bye.